What's up, everybody? Today we have a fun topic. It's type 3 diabetes. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you have never heard of type 3 diabetes. So we're going to talk about that today. In the chat box, let me know, where are you coming from? And do you know anything about type 3 diabetes? Put yes or no. I mean, where are you coming from? And a yes or no, okay? And you can also mention what type of diabetes you're living with, right? So let us know where you're watching from and what type of diabetes you're living with. And yes or no, are you familiar with type 3? Is this new to you? I would love to see where we're at, poll the audience, understand what's going on for you guys today. So now I'm coming to you from Bradenton, Florida right now. I'm in my dad's office right now, and I put some mangoes on the shelf. Hopefully he doesn't see that, just for fun. So we have Amanda coming to us from Vancouver, BC. Yes, she's heard of type 3. Excellent. And she's living with type 2. Excellent. Glad to have you with us, Amanda. Tiffany from Indiana. No. All right. Type 2 diabetes too. Good. All right. Glad you're happy with us. We're going to talk about type 3. You're going to leave today knowing just what you need to know about type 3 diabetes. Belgium, I know a little. Interested to know more. Excellent. Tatiana, glad to have you here. Andrea, Ohio, familiar with type 3, non-diabetic. Great. You're here to learn. I love that. Okay. Jody, Louisville, Kentucky, welcome. Bill, all right. You're not familiar with type 3. So good. Well, then it's a good thing that you're here. All right. So the first thing I want you guys to know is that if you want to go extra deep on this topic after the show today, you can simply Google mastering diabetes, type 3 diabetes, right? You can just Google that and you'll have the long article, which is a great resource that you could use, all right? And I'll even make a comment here. Let's see if I can make a comment. Well, it's okay. Our producer can make the comment. But it's very simple. It's just masteringdiabetes.org/type3-diabetes. It's easy to find. And that's a comprehensive article. We've covered a lot of information, all right? But I want to start from the top and let you guys know, for everybody you're writing, no, you're here to learn, this is new, okay? It's not surprising that many of you are writing no, because the truth is type 3 diabetes is actually not an official medical term. It's not recognized by the national health organizations that are, mainstream. It's also not recognized by the American Diabetes Association. So it's a new term, and it's a proposed term by many researchers. So this is a phrase, a condition. This is a thing that you can find in peer-reviewed research for sure. You could go to PubMed and you could read about it. And really what it's based in the fact that it's a proposed term to describe the hypothesis that Alzheimer's disease is caused by insulin resistance. Okay? We know that those who are living with type 2 diabetes, especially untreated, very high A1C, out of control type 2 diabetes, we know that there's an increase in your risk for dementia. And that many researchers believe is linked to insulin resistance. So a very, very simple way to think about this is to think of type 3 diabetes as insulin resistance of your brain, right? There's a lot of vascular tissue in your brain. There's a lot of blood flow to your brain. It's a very sensitive tissue. And when you have full body inflammation, when you have insulin resistance throughout your entire body, you are putting yourself at risk for dementia, for Alzheimer's disease. All right. So, and as you all know here at Mastering Diabetes, our focus is reversing insulin resistance. That is our focus, maximizing your insulin sensitivity, okay? And through lifestyle change. Now, we have found that when people get to a point of actually where, a doctor or a researcher says, you know what, you fit what I believe to be type 3 diabetes. We've gotten to this point. It's also known as kind of like intermittent Alzheimer's to a certain extent. Let's say you've gotten to that point. Researchers at this point do not believe that that can be reversed. Okay. So that is why you do not want to let the insulin resistance in your body get to a point where you're starting to impact your brain. Okay. So this is something that happens further down the line in a journey of living with insulin resistance, a life of living with insulin resistance. Okay. So that's why we are so passionate, so adamant about helping you guys take action now. It's not an exaggeration to say that every meal, every day, you are either increasing your risk for dementia and Alzheimer's disease and type 3 diabetes and putting yourself in a place of no return, or you are reversing insulin resistance before it ever gets to a point where it's too far gone. Okay? So I really hope that you guys hear that. I hope that this is motivation to take action. So what I really want to focus on today during our time together is the confusion around nutrition for your brain. Okay, I want you to put C in the chat box if you are confused about the amount of fat that you should consume to optimize brain function and insulin sensitivity. Write C in the chat box if you are confused. Okay, write C. Because that's really what I want to focus on today. I want to focus on taking action. We've covered the basics of what it is. The simple thing to remember is it's essentially insulin resistance of the brain. Okay, great. We got that. We all know Alzheimer's is something we do not want. Dementia is something we do not want. We've met people who are experiencing this, and we're all in a place of being like, we can all agree we want to reduce our risk of our brain not functioning properly and losing our memory. We all agree with that, okay? So I got lots of C's. I got SCE from Steven. All right. So this is what I want to focus on today, right? What foods to eat to maximize your insulin sensitivity, right? And make sure you have excellent brain health, all right? So I'm sure many of you have heard of the importance of having enough EPA and DHA for brain health. See, and having enough omega-3s in your diet for brain health. So in our book, Mastering Diabetes, we wrote about this extensively. So you would go to page, I'm going to go to page 172. It's in the hardcover version. And I'm actually going to share my screen. All right, share screen, screen share. Window right here. All right. You should be able to see the book on the screen. All right. Let's see if that actually happens. No, I don't have permission to share my screen. That's okay. So I'm going to have to read it to you. All right. So in the book, page 174, we have a graphic. And the purpose of the graphic is to help illustrate the importance of your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Okay? Omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. And that should be either 4-to-1 or 1-to-1. And what's happening is people are consuming too many processed fats, too many foods that are high in omega-6, right? So if you have too many omega-6 fats, that's going to inhibit your body's ability to convert the omega-3 essential fatty acid, ALA, to EPA and DHA. Your body is designed to be able to manufacture EPA and DHA through the consumption of, number one, a sufficient amount of omega-3s, the essential fatty acid being ALA, and then having an overall optimized dietary pattern and lifestyle to make the conversion. Okay? So omega-6 And omega-3. So you eat the essential fatty acids on both sides. I'm sorry you can't see the picture, but it's on page 175 of our book. Okay. You have think if there's a chart. Okay. You're on both sides. You have omega-6 up here and you have omega-3 up here. Okay. The same enzyme is responsible for the conversion. The enzyme delta-6 desaturase that does the converting of that essential fatty acid ALA all the way down the line to EPA and DHA is the same enzyme that does the conversion on the omega-6 side. And when you consume too many omega-6 fats, that disrupts this process. Your body has to handle all of the omega-6 first. And then that inhibits the conversion process. So this is a process of optimizing your brain health, optimizing your insulin sensitivity throughout your entire body. It comes down to your overall lifestyle. I want you guys to really remember that from today's presentation here. Your body, you have to think holistically. You have to sort of get away from reductionism and thinking that simply taking a supplement is what's going to solve a problem, a particular problem. You can, you might need a supplement. That's you're going to have to work on with a plant-based doctor. But what we suggest is you optimize your overall health first, and you objectively analyze what is going on in your body. Okay. So to summarize this whole process here, okay, number one, we have to become insulin sensitive for protecting our brain health. You want your entire body, including your brain tissue, to be insulin sensitive. Okay. Got it. Okay. Now, then you go, okay, well, what am I going to do to maximize insulin sensitivity and make sure my brain health is solid, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to optimize for the conversion. That's the key. You're going to optimize for the conversion of the alpha-linoleic acid you're going to get by consuming a whole food diet. Okay? That is what's going to happen. Okay? So, how do you do that now? Now, this is where we get into a very special guide that we have today. So, we have a recipe guide. It's the foolproof natural recipe guide. So you can get the exact recipes you need to have the optimum amount of fat in your diet, all right? The optimum amount of whole foods in your diet at the proper ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. That's what this guide is about. So if you want this guide, you just write guide in the chat box and we can get this to you. And you can see it has a bunch of recipes. Every single recipe is designed to maximize your insulin sensitivity and maximize your conversion of essential fatty acids. That's what this guide is about. That's what we are all about here at Mastering Diabetes. We have a system. We have a step-by-step system that is here to systematically improve your metabolic health over system-wide, from your brain to your toes. I healed plantar fasciitis by changing this diet, by reducing inflammation in my body. Inflammation in my feet improved by following this type of recipe plan. That's what this is about, okay? And look at these pictures. I mean, they're beautiful. These meals are absolutely beautiful. They're colorful. They're delicious. This is brain food, okay? Brain food is not eating a bunch of fat. Brain food is optimizing for reducing inflammation, optimizing for insulin sensitivity, optimizing for blood flow. So if you want this free guide, just write guide in the chat box. Our team will get it to you. If you're watching on YouTube and you write guide, unfortunately, we can't reach you. We can't get in touch with you on YouTube. You have to write to us on Facebook. You can email us or you can DM us on Instagram, and that's how we can get to you. So this is a bunch of recipes in this guide here. And as you can see on the screen, we provide the nutrition information. So at the end of this recipe, it's 646 calories. It's 154 grams of carbohydrate. It's 5 grams of fat and 23 grams of protein in this meal. This is an optimal nutrition profile because what's happening here is you have natural whole foods, which are automatically providing you with the correct omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Okay? Whole foods do that for you. Nature did not let us down. It's when we start to muddle with nature and refine and then eat oils and eat processed foods, we start messing up with the ratio. So these recipes, they're whole foods. That's number one. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is going to automatically fall where you need it to be. Then these recipes are low in fat to optimize your insulin sensitivity, which reduces your inflammation. I hope you guys are getting this and seeing the holistic picture here. This is how we address type 3 diabetes. This is how we address dementia. This is how we address Alzheimer's, okay? This is how you optimize your brain function. I want you to also remember as you walk away from this today that you don't have to do different things for different parts of your body, right? So a lot of you here, your pancreas is producing excess insulin, all right? You are living with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Your pancreas is producing excess. You don't have to do something different to start lowering your insulin levels than you have to do to optimize your brain health and your brain function and the insulin sensitivity in your brain tissue and the blood flow to your brain. You don't have to do different things. You're going to do one thing here. You're going to focus on reversing insulin resistance and watch the cascade of benefits come through, okay? So Priyani says, my pancreas is not producing any insulin. Welcome to the club. My pancreas is not producing any insulin either. I've had a C-peptide test. It's less than 0.01. It's an undetectable amount of insulin being produced, okay? So I love you guys, everybody who wrote guide. I love that you're taking action, that you're ready to get these recipes, and the weekend's coming up. So hopefully you go grocery shopping and you make them. That's what I really want to see. So Amanda Golden says, does this help with losing belly fat? Absolutely. There's no question. Does this lifestyle help with high cholesterol? Absolutely. Absolutely. And while we're talking about that, I take a very small amount of teaching. That's, hey, as long as you're in touch with your physician and that's a physician evidence-based decision, that's great. We talk about that in our book. Is it true that most dietary fat cannot even cross into the brain? I'm not sure about that, but I want to go back to the cholesterol question. So I want to let you know in just about 12 minutes or so at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, my co-founder Cyrus is going to be going live on the Amla Green Facebook page, okay? And I really want you to join that because he's going to be talking about what to do. How do you talk to your doctor after you've received a diagnosis? And that could be high cholesterol, right? So you've got to learn and hear from Cyrus about the benefits of amla berries for reducing your cholesterol. So it's a powerful combination. Yes, the Mastering Diabetes method absolutely will help you lower your cholesterol. But when you add in plant medicine and you get the world's most antioxidant-rich whole food into your system, that's a win, all right? So you don't want to miss that. It's on the Amla Green Facebook page. So as you can see on the screen, it's facebook.com/AmlaGreenHealth, and that's at 1:30 Eastern, so just about 10 minutes from now. You're going to want to join Cyrus there live. You can ask questions, and let's see if there's any other questions, Bess, I will answer. Does this reduce ameliorate inflammation? Well, it reduces total body inflammation. Let's just put it at that. Let's just keep it simple, right? When you're eating these whole foods, lots of fiber, nutrient dense, antioxidant rich. Not only that, one thing when it comes to inflammation, let's also remember these foods have the power to reduce inflammation, but when you're following the recipes in the guide, Remember, an important key here, which is not talked about enough, is it's about what you're not eating, right? So you stop eating a lot of the culprits. And that's one of the things that gets people confused why so many different diets work, right? So many different approaches. And oftentimes they have some very core components in common. And that is the reduction in the foods that we all know are just flat out terrible. Whether it's, processed cake, processed cookies, sodas, okay? Getting that stuff out is more than half the battle. And then, of course, consuming nutrient-dense food, right? Super important. Okay, so yeah, write guide if you want the foolproof guide about how to reduce inflammation. Do you have a guide for Asian food, rice, and curries? So, that's a great suggestion. I don't think we've made a specific Asian food guide, but that's been noted. Maybe we'll make some guides for different cuisines. That could be a lot of fun. All right. Does this help with chronic nerve pain, nerve damage? It absolutely does. I'm thinking of a guy, Jason. I'm going to Google Jason neuropathy, mastering diabetes. Let's see what comes up. There we go. So I got a YouTube video. Overcoming diabetic nerve pain with fruit, Jason's story. He's also on our let's see if I can send a message directly to the producer. Can I do that? Yeah, I think I can. Boom. So that's a fun link. So the answer is yes. We've seen many people improve diabetic neuropathy. All right. So somebody says, where will this guide show up? So guide will show up and you're going to get a direct message. We're going to message you on Facebook to get you the guide. All right. Where's the list of nutrient-dense foods? So in the guide is going to give you a bunch of recipes of nutrient-dense foods. And in our book, we have an entire list of nutrient-dense foods. It's our green light food, right? So you could Google green light foods mastering diabetes, and boom, you would find our list. Okay. So let's see. What about cravings for other foods? So cravings, there's a lot to unwrap when it comes to cravings. That's an entire presentation. I would say first and foremost, give yourself time, give yourself grace to know that your taste buds don't change overnight, right? So you got to commit to getting through that period. I would check in about emotions. How are you feeling? Is there a certain emotion that's coming up when you're craving something? Can you tap into that? Can you tap into what are you feeling? What are you feeling and eating in that moment? Could it be something other than food? It's worth exploring. All right. But also just know that in general, as you eat more of these nutrient-dense foods, you start to actually crave those foods, particularly because of how good you feel. When you feel that good and the results are coming in, that is a strong motivator to keep going. Strong motivator. Okay. How do I know pancreas still producing insulin and how to stop antibodies from attacking your pancreas? So I wish I had a solution for how to stop antibodies from attacking beta cells. Once we figure that out, we can reverse type 1 diabetes. That's going to be amazing. But how do you know if your pancreas is still producing insulin? You can go get a C-peptide test. Okay. You can go get a C-peptide test. Just Google mastering diabetes C-peptide, mastering diabetes C-peptide. All right. And you can get that test and you could see how much insulin your pancreas is producing. That's a very important article. All right. So let's see. Somebody says, true, I crave spinach, berries, and of all fruits. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Cravings, it's like the brain is screaming, eat. This is after dinner. So hopefully you might, sometimes another thing about craving, sometimes people aren't eating enough food. You're not eating enough calories sometimes. So, but again, that's a whole nother topic for another day. Here we go, guys. This was fun. I want to give you a little break before you go join our next live. Again, that's going to be Cyrus going live on the Amla Green Facebook page. Before we go, write guide in the chat box if you want the foolproof natural recipe guide. The recipes that are designed to optimize your insulin sensitivity, your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, so you can have optimal brain health. That's what it's for. So you can prevent type 3 diabetes. You can prevent Alzheimer's, prevent dementia. Prevention is the name of the game. Once you've gotten there, that's a very challenging place to be with that particular condition. It's a place you don't want to be. And I just want to say, if you write guide on YouTube, we're not able to reach you. You have to send a message on Facebook, email us, or message us on Instagram. All right, guys, this is so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy the guide. I hope you put it in action. If you make some recipes, tag us on Facebook, tag us on Instagram. We want to see you making the recipes. We want to see you guys taking action. This has been a lot of fun. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.